hope you all are having a beautiful holiday weekend. Lots of rest, lots of love and joy and relaxation. I wanted to share with you a little bit more backstory on how when you do energy healing a lot, when you work on other people's bodies and energetic fields enough, you begin to become aware of things that they possess in their energetic anatomy that you don't. Because just because we can see something or work with something in another human energy field, it doesn't mean that we possess it or that particular part of our energetic anatomy is working at full potential. That's what happened to me for years and years with the 0 point chakra. I could hold other people's amazing, miraculous things could happen, and I could not connect into mine. It felt like I didn't have one, quite honestly. And some people that I've worked with their 0 point might even be watching this at some point, but I could generate a lot of heat with it, and they would get really hot, like their body would get really hot when I would connect in. And what I'm talking about is the Earth Star chakra, the energy center that is below the feet. It is not the point, the vortex on the soles of the feet. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about below the feet. It's one of the out of body energy centers. And it was so fascinating because I could always feel or see, completely tap into other people's Earth Star chakra. I just was like, where's mine? What is mine doing? Is it doing anything? Is it even there? I don't know. So it was weird because I didn't know what that meant. But what happened, which was the oddest course of events and synchronicities to get me to Peebles, Ohio, which is where Serpent Mound is, everything lined up in such an odd, rare occurrence that the reason that I want to share this backstory with you, because you might be like, why is she so fascinated with Serpent Mound? Is it because she's from there? No. It's because I was supposed to go to a continuing ed class for my massage therapy license in Lexington, Kentucky. I had that scheduled because it was a body intelligence class that I actually wanted to take. It was something that I was actually interested in versus like all the not so interesting things that sometimes you have to fill up a weekend with to get your license renewal. So I found this one in Lexington, and that's close to my family up there. Well, within just a few short hours, the entire weekend was shuffled around and changed because the instructor of the class got the flu. Everybody's money was refunded. I had this weekend that I had set aside, and I was like, well, my family still think I'm coming, so I'm going to surprise them because I don't have to leave. Because my family lived about 2 hours from where this continuing ed was going to take place. So my mom and I set out, and we were literally on the road to Kentucky when it hit me that my friend Philip had shared a Netflix episode with me, Ancient Apocalypse. And he wanted me to watch Ancient Apocalypse because he wanted me to see if I remembered anything about Atlantis with what Graham Hancock is sharing in other parts of the world. But I got to episode 6 and I was like, this is home. I didn't know this was so extraordinary in Ohio. Like I didn't know. And it hit me as we're driving up the West Virginia Turnpike. I looked at Mom and I was like, would you want to go to Serpent Mound with me? And she was like, sure. Well, the next thing I know, next day, my brother's in the car. My aunt and uncle are in the car. Everyone that's alive in my bloodline is on their way to Serpent Mound. And you guys know how it is. You can't even hardly coordinate friends to have lunch. Everybody's so busy and it's hard to coordinate people. So that's what ended up happening the next day. Total turn of events, shifting of everyone's location and situation to make what needed to happen. And the reason that I'm telling you that is not just to tell you why Serpent Mound is so important to me, but because you're going to have your zones on planet Earth that are going to heal you. And you're also going to watch everything get shuffled around to put you right where you need to be in the quickening of the higher dimensional spaces that we're in now. You're going to see more and more of these synchronicities happening to put you where you need to be. Not like they haven't been happening all along, because they have. But what happened to us was absolutely extraordinary, and it is a good, deep part of the backstory of how this whole retreat has come about and why I've been doing these spiritual pilgrimages up there. I got my 0 point chakra. I retrieved my own Earth Star energy center point below my feet, and heaven knows I did not expect that was going to happen. I didn't expect anything was going to happen. And it was a huge spirit retrieval for me. It was also so much ancestral bloodline healing. The fact that this guy, like, you guys, if you see, like, he's just like, he's so ready to go. He's not wanting me to do this right now. So I'll make it short and sweet. I, for the first time in my life, felt that energy center below my feet. And the reason I'm telling you this is because what if there are zones on the planet? It doesn't necessarily have to be my zone, where that meteor crash impact rim from something from outer space crashing into the earth, a fault line in the earth. It doesn't necessarily have to be Ohio for you. This is just where I came in the planet. Where is it for you that you might retrieve some of your own energy? Just think about that, because I couldn't have imagined that was going to happen to me, but it did. And I didn't have to try to make it happen. That's what was really cool. There's no efforting now. There's no trying, there's no grasping. In the energy that we're in now, those days are over. Your soul knows exactly where to put you. So I want you to pay attention to when things fall apart, because when your schedule falls apart, just like my continuing ed did, that is not a bad thing. That is an opening for where you're meant to be, for whatever healing that you couldn't even understand, that you couldn't even explain if you tried. Whatever retrieval of your own energy is getting ready to happen. That's amazing to me. And it didn't stop there with me, because my mother and my brother had profound experiences there spiritually that day. And my mom was the first one, like, as we rolled up into Serpent Mound, and it was all foggy and mysterious and looked like a movie, you know, and this Native American woman comes walking out of the fog with a staff with antlers on the top of it. And I mean, it was truly like, have we just stepped into a movie? What the heck is going on? And the woman looks at Mom, and they have this knowing of each other. And my mom goes, I know her. How do I know her? I've seen her before. And I was like, I don't know. How do you know her? And the lady goes, have you been to the spring yet? You need to get your spring water. It's a gift from the Serpent. And I'm like, spring water? That was how the whole thing started. Then I'm taking pictures of different monuments, and I'm taking pictures of like a lot of the archaeological information that I want to go back and read later, like the geek that I am. And there's this guy that's like always in my way. He's like, wherever I'm wanting to take a picture, he's standing there taking the exact same picture. And I'm like, ugh. And I wasn't noticing him at that point. I was just like, somebody's taking a picture where I want to be taking a picture. And then I looked down at his arm. And right here on his arm, there's a medicine wheel with the 4 directions. And I look at the medicine wheel and I remember him. I knew him so deeply. And then I looked at him and I looked in his eyes and it was like, I know you. I not only know you, I love you. We never exchanged names or anything like that. It was absolutely nothing inappropriate that happened, but we absolutely did know each other. And we ended up walking the rest of the Serpent together. And my brother, my uncle, and my aunt are like, what the heck is going on? Like, I mean, my brother was getting protective. Like, do I need to tell this guy to back off? Like, is he hitting on you? And my uncle was being very, I don't know. It was just funny because it was definitely so much timeline, quantum remembering going on. And I couldn't explain it, but, it was like, there you are. And then my brother had his doppelganger at another point, like at an overlook point. He had his best friend Sean's twin was there. And he looks at me and he goes, doesn't that guy just look like Sean? And the guy's talking to him. And so that's what I was sharing in a little bit more in depth with you now, what the guy that owns the crystal shop up there was talking about when he says that different points on the Serpent connect to different civilizations and times, like Lemuria, Mu, Atlantis, because he wanted to know where my remembering of that guy was, like, where did that happen? He was like, if you look right here, it's right here. And I don't remember like which area of the Serpent gives you like which connection to like what civilization or place on the timeline, basically. But what I'm saying to all of you about this is notice where life puts you. And notice the zones on planet Earth where deep healing is going to rapidly accelerate for you now. It's going to be really interesting to see as the shifting keeps taking place for all of us. But I wanted to give you that little backstory because every time I've gone there, the deep, profound healing that I've had, it's been things that I could not have imagined would happen. And I know that this is going to be the case for you wherever you are. It may not be in Serpent Mound for you. It may be other places on the planet where deep healing, spirit retrieval, and connection are going to consistently start happening. So I did want to share that though, because I'd never really got to tell the full story of that was the first time. That was the first time that I was actually at Serpent Mound. And I do believe there's a protection spell on the impact crater. I don't think that you get there until you're supposed to know about it, until you can energetically handle it. I do. I think there's like a cloak of invisibility. And the other thing that I wanted to tell you all in here that's really interesting to me about my connection, my ancestral connection to Serpent Mound, I thought it would be Adena Indian or Hopewell or Cherokee, even though like this particular zone is like way before Cherokee, which is in my blood, my DNA. But no, it was Viking. It was the strongest Viking energy there. And I did not expect that. And that's the other beautiful thing about, as we're finding out, as all these truths are being uncovered about our real history and our real origins, it's so different than what we've been taught. which is so completely exciting. So just wanted to share that while I was out on this gorgeous day, and hope you're having a beautiful weekend. A little bit more backstory into what brought this retreat on. And this retreat just has totally planned itself. I'm just answering the call of the ancestors and the Star Nation and all that, because honestly, like, I thought I was kind of done with retreats. I used to do quite a few up at my mom's property up in the mountains before she built and before she and my stepdad lived out there. I really just didn't think I was going to do that anymore. And that's not what this is. This is so meant to be, and very, very special in so many ways that the universe has completely planned it out and provided it for the important work that we're going to go up there and do. So I love you all. I wish you a gorgeous, restful retrograde. And I'm just sending so many of you, all of you, blessings and love and gratitude.